This 1985 Suzuki was once sold for peanuts, and now clean ones are already flirting with six-figure prices. And this 2006 Ducati Sport doubled in value in just a few years. And today, we're looking at 10 motorcycles that could be worth a fortune one day. And we start things off with an absolute ticking time bomb. The Suzuki GSX-R 750. The original Gixxer wasn't just another bike, it was the machine that launched the modern sport bike revolution. With its fully fared design, lightweight alloy frame, oil-cooled inline-4, and over 100 horsepower in a sub-400-pound chassis, it effortlessly outpaced everything around it. But here's the catch. Most early GSX-Rs were raced, crashed, or modified beyond recognition. Today, finding a clean, untouched 1,985 or 1986 rare. And because of that scarcity, prices are skyrocketing, especially for bikes with stock paint and original bodywork. In fact, pristine examples are already flirting with six-figure territory. But what if we swap that air-cooled speed for some liquid-cooled championship DNA? Because that's where the 2006 Honda RC51 comes into play. This one quietly flew under the radar until it stamped its mark on World Superbike and collectors' radars. Honda built the RC51 with the intention a 999cc V-twin, fuel injection, race-spec chassis, and a styling language honed for the track. Nicky Hayden's 2002 championship win on an RC51 didn't hurt either. Despite being heavier than some rivals, the RC51 delivers unmatched analog grit, build quality, and the sound you only get from a V-twin. SP1 models were strong, but the later SP2 engineered version is already fetching strong collector interest. Think Ducati 996 levels of desirability, only with a Honda twist. And speaking of Ducati, up next, we have the Ducati Sport 1000, where elegance meets emotion. This is one of the best-looking Ducatis ever made, and for years, nobody noticed. Part of Ducati's short-lived sport classic line, the Sport 1000 featured retro cafe, racer styling, an air-cooled L-twin, dry clutch, and minimalist fluid lines. Sales were slow at launch. Some riders dismissed it as styling over substance. Fast forward to today, and it's considered an instant classic, especially the Paul Smart Special Edition, which has already doubled in value. Even base models are climbing, with clean original examples now having collector status. Ducati has never made anything quite like it since. We cover many gems in this channel, and if you want to keep up with the latest finds in the motorbikes universe, make sure to hit that subscribe button. Every subscriber is officially a certified legend. While we're on the topic of legends, Kawasaki has a legendary bike that few caught on to. The 2003 Kawasaki ZX-7R. Welcome to Green Glory. The Kawasaki ZX-7R wasn't just a sport bike, it was a street-legal world superbike contender. With twin ram air scoops, an aluminum twin spar frame, and that unmistakable lime green paint, this thing looked ready for the grid before it even moved. Its aggressive stance, balanced handling, and pure race DNA made it a favorite among serious riders. And while the spotlight later shifted to newer rivals like the R1 or GSX R1000, the ZX-7R quietly earned its cult status. Now, collectors are catching up, and prices are rising fast, especially for the ultra-rare ZX-7RR homologation models. These bikes mark the end of an era, the last truly analog Kawasaki race replicas. But from green beasts to off-road animals, let's take it off the tarmac. Introducing the BMW HP2 Enduro. Built for the dirt and born to rip, the BMW HP2 Enduro was never meant to be mainstream. This beast was BMW's no-compromise take on what a hardcore adventure bike should be. Powered by a massive 1170cc air-cooled boxer engine, cranking out over 100 horsepower in a frame that weighed under 400 pounds. It had no ABS, no traction control, no fancy rider modes, just raw performance and Dakar-ready hardware. It was fast, tall, intimidating, and insanely fun. Because of its high price and niche appeal, only a few were sold, which now makes it rare. Clean examples are skyrocketing in value because they're practically extinct. Time to trade knobbies for slicks? Because Yamaha dropped an absolute gem in 1999, the Yamaha R7. Not to be confused with the current MT-07-based R7, the original Yamaha R7, also known as the OW02, was an entirely different animal, built for one purpose only, to win in World Superbike. Yamaha only produced around 500 of these globally to meet homologation rules, and what they created was basically a race bike in disguise. It had a 749cc inline-4, titanium internals, Olin suspension, and a price tag north of $30,000. Out of the box, it made around 106 horsepower. But with the factory race kit installed, that jumped to over 160. Few were sold, and even fewer were kept in stock. Today, it's one of the most sought-after sport bikes ever made. Not all future classics wore race leathers. Some wore denim and black leather. Let's go back to the 80s and talk about the Harley-Davidson FXR. An old-school Harley that actually corners. The FXR was built during a weird time at Harley when engineers were quietly trying to create something that didn't just rumble, it handled. With a rigid frame, rubber-mounted Evo engine, and unmatched stability for its time, the FXR was too sporty for the die-hard cruiser crowd and too heavy for sport bike fans. It sat in no man's land until now. Today, the FXR is a cult hero. Custom shops love it, stunt riders thrash it, collectors chase clean originals. And when nostalgia hits full steam, this will be the Harley everyone regrets not buying. But not all legends were born in America. Some were born in Japan. Honda CB1100R was released in the early 80s, and it's a perfect heavyweight contender if you're after vintage racing pedigree with real street presence. Built strictly as a homologation special for endurance racing, the CB1100R was never sold in the US, which only adds to its mythos. This machine packed a beastly air-cooled inline-4, race-ready full fairings, and a level of craftsmanship that set it apart from the typical Honda lineup. Fewer than 5,000 were made across all versions, and most were ridden hard, just like Honda intended. But now, clean examples are vanishingly rare, and collectors are waking up to what this bike really is. A forgotten 80s icon that could still hold its own today. Now for a machine built with a wrench and a dream, the 2003 Buell XP 12S Lightning. Let's talk ingenuity served with a side of madness. The Buell XP 12S Lightning wasn't just unconventional, it was borderline rebellious. Instead of following traditional motorcycle engineering, Eric Buell went full maverick. Fuel stored inside the frame, oil in the swing arm, and a thunderous Harley-derived 1,203cc V-twin mounted low and forward for mass centralization. The result? A short wheelbase hooligan machine with torque for days and razor-sharp handling that embarrassed more refined sport bikes. At the time, the market didn't quite know what to make of it, but now collectors love it for what it is: bold, rare, and totally unique. Clean examples with stock parts and that translucent airbox cover are getting harder to find. You want a unique American machine that'll become a future icon? This is it. But if you want something more iconic and Italian, then this bike is for you. One of the greatest two-stroke legends ever to grace the street. The Aprilia RS 250 was everything a lightweight sport bike should be: raw, nimble, and surgically precise. Powered by a modified Suzuki RGV 250 engine and wrapped in Aprilia's race-bred chassis, it brought Grand Prix handling to the streets. With aggressive lines, track-inspired ergonomics, and a spine-tingling exhaust note, this bike was built for purists. But with tightening emissions laws, two-strokes were phased out, and Aprilia's masterpiece was gone too soon. That's exactly why prices are surging. Clean examples, especially the later models with updated electronics and race graphics, are becoming unicorns. But just how two-stroke legends were banned, you too can get banned off the roads. Because there are 14 ridiculous motorcycle laws that exist to this day, and if you don't know about them, you can get fined or even arrested. I made a full video on this, and you can watch it by clicking it on screen. Thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next one.